America's story, while filled with triumphs and progress, also includes a chapter of deep pain, a stark reminder of injustice. The story of slavery, a dark stain on the nation's history. For centuries, millions of Africans were forcibly brought here in chains, enduring unimaginable suffering during the transatlantic journey. They were treated as property, stripped of their humanity, and forced to work without hope of reward or recognition. Yet, even in the darkest of times, under the weight of oppression, the human spirit's desire for freedom burned on, an unquenchable flame refusing to be extinguished. This is not just a story of suffering and despair, though those elements are undeniably present. It is also a story of resilience, resistance, and ultimately courage. Brave men and women, faced with unimaginable cruelty, refused to accept their chains. They held on to the dream of a world where they could be free, where their children could live without fear. They whispered their hopes in the night, sharing stories of freedom and planning their escape. They risked everything, their lives, their families, for a chance, however slim, at liberty. With no armies or weapons at their disposal, they held on to a single powerful idea, a belief that transcended their circumstances. Every person, regardless of their race or origin, has a right to be free. This idea fueled their resistance, becoming a beacon of hope in the darkness. It gave them the strength to act, to rebel, to fight for their lives despite the overwhelming dangers they faced. Their stories are a testament to the indomitable strength of the human heart, forever yearning for liberty and justice. We'll explore these stories, bringing to light the hidden narratives of the past, of blacksmiths, preachers, carpenters, and field hands who dared to challenge an unjust world, risking everything for a better future. By remembering their struggles, by acknowledging their pain, we honor their courage and their unwavering spirit. Their fight for freedom is not just a chapter in a history book, it is a powerful and essential part of our shared history, shaping the nation we are today. Imagine the immense bravery it took to stand against a system specifically built to crush them, to silence their voices, and to deny their humanity. These are not just tales from a history book, distant and detached from our own lives. They are the stories of real people, with hopes and dreams just like ours, who risked everything for the chance to live free. We will journey back in time, stepping into their world, to meet the leaders and participants of these rebellions, the unsung heroes of the fight for freedom. We will learn about their secret plans, their unwavering hopes for a better tomorrow, and the ultimate sacrifices they made for the cause of liberty. By remembering their struggles, we honor their courage, ensuring that their sacrifices were not in vain. The fight for justice and freedom, a battle waged across generations, is a long and arduous journey traveled by brave souls for centuries, and one that continues to this day. Our journey begins in 1800, a time of great upheaval and simmering discontent. We find ourselves near Richmond, Virginia, a land of both promise and oppression. Here lived Gabriel, a blacksmith, toiling under the yoke of enslavement, his days filled with hard labor. Yet within him resided the spirit of a natural leader, a man destined for more than servitude. Gabriel possessed a rare gift for the time. He could read and write, skills that opened his mind to new possibilities. This literacy was rare for the time, setting him apart and fueling his understanding of the world. Through his reading, he saw the stark injustice that surrounded him, the brutal reality of slavery. Inspired by the revolutionary fervor of the American and Haitian revolutions where people fought for their freedom, he dreamed of a new Virginia, a transformed society. In his vision, black and white people could live together as equals, free from the chains of oppression and prejudice. Gabriel, driven by his convictions, shared his vision with others, planting the seeds of rebellion. He began recruiting hundreds of enslaved people, men and women yearning for liberation, and even some poor whites, who also felt the sting of inequality, joined his cause. Their plan was bold: seize weapons from the local armory, capture the governor of Virginia, a symbol of the oppressive regime, and ultimately take control of Richmond, the heart of the state. Their rallying cry, their motto was "Death or Liberty," a powerful declaration. This echoed the spirit of the American Revolution, a fight for self-determination and freedom from tyranny. Gabriel, despite his enslavement, believed in the ideals upon which America was founded, even when those ideals were denied to him and his people. The date was set, August 30th, 1800, the day the rebellion was scheduled to begin, the day they would strike for their freedom. But fate intervened in the form of a violent thunderstorm, a tempestuous force of nature. The storm flooded roads, making travel impossible, and scattered the rebels, disrupting their carefully laid plans. This delay proved fatal, as two men, driven by fear or self-preservation, revealed the plot to their owner, betraying their comrades. The authorities were immediately alerted and the full force of the colonial government was mobilized. Gabriel's carefully constructed dream was crushed before it could truly take flight, a devastating blow to the hopes of so many. A massive manhunt ensued, and Gabriel and his followers were relentlessly hunted down, their rebellion thwarted. Their quest for freedom, their courageous attempt to break the chains of slavery, ended in tragedy and despair. Yet, even in failure, Gabriel's vision showed the world, and continues to show us, that the desire for liberty, once ignited, could not be extinguished or silenced. He risked everything, his life, his freedom, for a dream of justice and equality. His story serves as a powerful reminder that the fight for freedom is a constant struggle, never easy, and often fraught with peril. Even in defeat, his unwavering courage inspired others to continue the fight for a better world. The fire he lit, the flame of hope and resistance, would burn on in the hearts of those who followed in his footsteps. Gabriel's rebellion, though ultimately unsuccessful, was a blueprint for future generations, a testament to the enduring power of hope. His legacy endures to this day as a potent symbol of resistance against oppression, a reminder that the fight for freedom is never truly over. Fast forward to 1811, on Louisiana's German coast, where sugar plantations were brutal. Inspired by Haiti, Charles Deslandes, an enslaved overseer, began organizing the largest slave rebellion in U.S. history. Secret messages spread from plantation to plantation, gathering hundreds ready to fight. In January, the rebellion erupted. Armed with cane knives and axes, they marched toward New Orleans. Their numbers swelled to nearly 500, moving in formation, some in uniforms. For 2 days they controlled a stretch of the Mississippi, masters of their fate. But the militia and U.S. Army responded swiftly. Outgunned, the rebels were defeated in a brutal battle. Deslandes and other leaders were captured. The rebellion was crushed, and the aftermath was merciless. Heads of the executed were displayed as warnings, yet for a brief moment, they showed the world the power of hope. Their march was a declaration. Freedom could not be contained. The German coast uprising remains a testament to collective courage. Even in defeat, their spirit echoed through history. In 1822, Charleston, Denmark Vesey, a free black carpenter, plotted a revolution. Vesey, once enslaved, used his freedom to fight for others still in bondage. He was a respected church leader, teaching that slavery was a sin. Inspired by the Bible and the story of Moses, Vesey secretly organized thousands. His plan seized Charleston, armed the rebels, and escaped to Haiti. Cells of conspirators gathered weapons and prepared for a coordinated uprising. Vesey's vision was total liberation, a dramatic break from slavery. For months the secret held, thousands risked everything, united by hope. The stage was set for a rebellion that could have changed history, but betrayal and fear would soon threaten everything. Vesey's plan was bold, but the forces against him were immense. His story is one of faith, strategy, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. Vesey's uprising was set for July 14th, Bastille Day, a nod to global revolutions. His network was vast, with leaders assigned to seize weapons, block roads, and set fires. They used coded language and secret signs, inspired by faith and African traditions. Gullah Jack, a key lieutenant, gave rebels protective charms, blending spiritual strength with strategy. For months, thousands kept the secret, risking their lives for freedom. But in May, an enslaved man revealed the plot to his owner. Authorities moved quickly, arresting suspected leaders. Vesey tried to move the date up, but it was too late. The city was on high alert, the conspiracy unraveled. Dozens were arrested, interrogated, and executed, including Vesey and Gullah Jack. Many others were sold away. Charleston was shaken, and the AME church was destroyed. The dream of freedom was met with brutal repression. Vesey's plan failed, but his courage left a lasting mark. His whispers of liberation became a legend. The hope he inspired could not be erased. The year was 1831. Tensions simmered beneath the surface of the American South. In Southampton County, Virginia, Nat Turner, a preacher, a mystic, and a man deeply affected by the injustices he witnessed, believed with unwavering conviction that he was chosen by God, destined to bring an end to the brutal institution of slavery. Turner was a man guided by faith, often seeing visions and interpreting signs, interpreting them as direct, divine commands, urging him towards action. He carefully gathered a small group of trusted followers, men who shared his beliefs and his burning desire for freedom, waiting patiently, yet with growing anticipation, for the right moment to strike. In August, a strange and unsettling solar eclipse cast an eerie shadow, signaling to Turner that the time had come. On August 21st, under the cloak of darkness, Turner and his loyal followers met in the secluded woods, prayed fervently, seeking divine guidance, and prepared themselves for what lay ahead. Armed with the tools at hand, axes and hatchets, implements of labor now repurposed as weapons of liberation, they set out with unwavering resolve to bring what they believed was God's righteous judgment upon the slaveholders. Their immediate goal was simple: to create terror, and ultimately, to shatter the very foundations of the oppressive system of slavery. This was not merely a political revolution driven by earthly ambitions, but a holy war, a spiritual uprising against what they saw as profound evil. Turner was convinced that only bloodshed, only a violent reckoning, could cleanse the land and end the sin of slavery. Their rebellion, though ultimately suppressed, would quickly become the most famous and deeply feared slave revolt in all of American history, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. For 2 terrifying days, they moved relentlessly from house to house, across the Virginia countryside, sparing no one, regardless of age or gender, in their determined path of retribution. The shocking news spread like wildfire, igniting panic and fear throughout the South. Turner's violent actions forced the entire nation, North and South, to confront the inherent violence and moral bankruptcy that lay at slavery's very core. His rebellion, though short-lived, irrevocably changed the conversation about slavery, pushing it to the forefront of national debate forever. Nat Turner's fiery vision, his desperate act of rebellion, would continue to haunt the conscience of America for generations to come. Turner's rebellion swept through Southampton County, growing to about 70 men. For 2 days they carried out their violent plan, striking terror into the white community. Local militias responded, and the rebels, outgunned, were quickly defeated. Many were killed or executed without trial. Turner escaped, hiding for 2 months as a massive manhunt raged. In the chaos, white mobs killed hundreds of innocent black people. Eventually, Turner was captured, tried, and executed. While in jail, he explained his visions and motives in The Confessions of Nat Turner. His courage and conviction were unwavering to the end. The rebellion's aftermath was brutal, with harsher laws and deeper oppression. Turner's uprising sent shockwaves through the South. The violence revealed the deep fear at the heart of the slave system. His story became a symbol of resistance and the high cost of freedom. Nat Turner's legacy endures as a warning and an inspiration. After each rebellion, the response was swift and harsh. Instead of reform, states tightened their grip, passing new laws, restricting rights, and enforcing terror. Heads of rebels were displayed as warnings, churches were burned, education was outlawed. The system of slavery became even more brutal and closed. Nat Turner's rebellion led to the harshest slave codes in history. Black gatherings were banned, and any talk of freedom was silenced. The South doubled down on oppression, making the path to freedom longer and darker. The dream of liberty was met with overwhelming force, yet the memory of resistance could not be erased. The chains grew heavier, but hope endured. Though crushed, these rebellions were not failures. Their stories became legends, symbols of bravery and defiance. They shattered the myth of contented slavery and forced the nation to confront its violence. Abolitionists used these stories to demand emancipation. The courage of Gabriel, Deslandes, Vesey, and Turner inspired future generations: Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, and many more. Each act of resistance built upon the last, fueling the fight for freedom. Their legacy lives on in the ongoing struggle for justice and civil rights. These stories remind us of the power of hope and the human spirit's ability to resist oppression. By remembering them, we honor their sacrifice and the truth that ordinary people can change history. Their fire for freedom still lights our way.